Hello friends, followers and channel members, welcome to another video here in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we're going to be taking a look at what has very quickly become one of my top add-ons for Microsoft Flight Simulator following its latest update. ToolBar Pushback was already in my community folder, and if you saw a video I released a couple of weeks ago explaining which mods I had to have in Microsoft Flight Simulator, this one featured very highly. Well, it's now just been taken to another level as Pushback pre-planning has now been included with its latest update. For those of you who may be familiar with X-Plane's Better Pushback mod, this essentially does the same thing but for Microsoft Flight Simulator and is incredibly intuitive and easy to use. In this video we're going to have a little look at what it can do and, quite importantly as well, what it can't do. The first time you launch ToolBar Pushback, it will greet you with information regarding the Pushback pre-planning, which is now available, and they are also currently running a giveaway competition. They've teamed up with Navigraph as well to offer a year's free subscription to Navigraph, so go ahead and do check that out. The first time you attempt to use their new pre-planning pushback feature, then you click the green button and it gives you information on how to use it. Now, I've only seen this actually appear once since it was installed, so quite luckily I did take a handy screenshot of this. I'm sure that information of this is available elsewhere, but just for reference and quickness, it's definitely worth just perhaps grabbing a quick screenshot of that so you know how to use it until you become used to the new edition. So the app is accessed as previously using the toolbar menu. Now, it has to be said as well that there is currently a small issue with the mod designed to hide this little white drop down menu, and the developer does refer to this in his release notes for the app, so do make sure you check that out. If you are using such a mod add-on to remove this toolbar, then you may have some issues with this mod. I'm not, and so for me that doesn't apply, but once we open the toolbar pushback app, you'll be familiar with this, and the only difference here is the big green pre-plan pushback. For now though, everything works just as it always used to with regards to getting rid of the jetway, removing the GPU, catering, baggage, stairs, etc. So you'll all be familiar with that, and of course the doors underneath. If we move on to the options page, then again, if you don't like the interactive audio that comes with the mod, you can disable this. I don't mind it. I think it adds a touch of realism. I think perhaps an ability to customize the voices might be quite nice. That might be a feature the developer looks at into the future. You can also simulate the nose wheel lift. I don't have this turned on, but of course if you wish, then that is up to you. I really like these little tick boxes as well, so you can prevent the stairs from leaving, prevent the catering truck from leaving, etc. Because as you'll know, if you call these up using the default air traffic control, then the stairs, the jetway, they're usually there for a minute or two and then they disappear, which isn't very realistic. So leaving these turned on just means that if you call the various different services in this page window just here, then they will be they'll remain there until you tell them that you're finished with them and done. So let's have a quick look at how the pushback would actually work. So we are going to pre-plan our pushback. Once we select that, it obviously just takes a moment to load and we can see where we are. That black outline is our aircraft, and the mouse cursor then is where we want to go. If it's red, it means that it's unable to do the pushback. If it's green, then it says yep, that's absolutely no problem. Using the control button, we can zoom in and out. So just on my keyboard here, I'm holding the left control button just to zoom in and out, and then we're going to move around, just literally clicking and scrolling left and right, etc. So if I wanted to push back and face west, as it is just here, then once I've got my aircraft roughly where I want it to be, I then use my mouse scroll wheel just to pop that there, and then once I'm happy I can click select, and then happy with that I can then press the enter key and we can then go ahead request the pushback. So let's just quickly go ahead and do that.
Cockpit to ground. Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Okay, so obviously a couple of ways you can release the parking brakes. You can either do that by clicking on them in the cockpit, or if you've got a side stick or a button assigned to the parking brake, you can do that, or of course you can just press the big yellow button here.
Parking brakes are released. Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence. It will start in the sequence.
And back we go. Now, the fact that we've now got pre-plan available, what I really like about this is normally, because we're having to do the pushback ourselves, I have to leave this window open, which kind of kills the immersion a little bit. So instead what I can do now is I can get rid of that, and we can just sort of enjoy the various scenery around, not having to worry about the pushback at all. The mod is taking care of that, and hopefully it should find itself exactly where we told it to go by the time the pushback is finished. So I'm just going to let this run for you.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
And there's our pushback completed. He's put us in exactly the right position that we wanted him to go in. Now, when using VATSIM, I cannot tell you how much of a game changer this is going to be. It means that we can monitor different things. We can monitor engine starts without having to concentrate too much on the pushback, because that's all going to be taken care of for us with the new update of ToolBar Pushback. So now let's go ahead and look at something a little bit more complicated and show you how you can do a full pushback as realistically as possible here in the simulator using real world procedures. So here we are in Rome, and I'm going to show you now the correct procedure for completing a pushback with the help of the new ToolBar Pushback mod. So let's pretend then that all our passengers are loaded, the fuel is all loaded, and we're all ready to go. We've done our pre-departure briefings, we've set everything up correctly. All that's left to do now is contact ATC. So prior to contacting ATC, I'd probably open the pre-plan pushback page, just so that's all loaded up. And as you can see, what I would expect from ATC, as I always pre-brief this, what we would expect, and what I would expect from this particular gate here is probably to push back and face somewhere like here. But the wonderful thing about pushback, to the new ToolBar Pushback app, is it can actually do quite complicated pushbacks. Probably not useful here, but certainly at other airports like Amsterdam, for example, and I'll have a little look at that with you in a moment. So let's just say that ATC want us to go somewhere which they wouldn't want us to do in real life, but let's say they wanted us to push back a beam stand 711. Well, that is possible. So we contact ATC, they say, yeah, push back, and we want you to push back facing east a beam stand 111 for whatever reason. Perhaps another aircraft's coming in on here to park at our gate. So we would then build up a series of waypoints. So we can start by perhaps popping one here, and then popping another one just here. And then we can go back and keep going all the way around, and then finally just here. And you can really be very, very accurate and have the blue line follow the taxi lines, so you're really ensuring your wingtip clearance from any obstacles. There we go. So I'm happy with that. So we've been given our ATC clearance. We're all good to go. Before we can do that, and of course we run the flows. We've got the clearance. We would turn the rotating beacon light on. We come down then, and the next thing I'd want to check for is that the nose wheel steering had been disconnected. Well, that won't be disconnected until you press the request pushback, because that happens when the ground crew disconnect the nose wheel steering and connect the tug. So let's go ahead and do that, and we should see nose wheel steering is now disconnected. So they're now moving into position. The next thing I want to do then is start the elapsed timer, which is just down here, and then I want to check that the acupressure is in the green. As you can see, it is actually not at the moment, it's in the white. There are two ways to pressurize this. This is normally done automatically when the cargo door opens, so if you've loaded in luggage, then opening the cargo door will pressurize this system. Of course, if you haven't done that for whatever reason, you can also use the electric pump up here, and if we now come down and have a quick look, we should start to see that
The bypass pin is installed.
moving
All
up.
doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed. We are cleared for start and push. Okay, cleared for push start.
Okay, so acupressure's in the green. Let's now just turn that off. And then once we've done that, we need to make sure that the transponder is set to auto with whatever score code ATC had given us. The crew are ready for us to go, so let's release the parking brakes.
Parking brakes are released. Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence. It will start in the sequence.
And back we go. Of course, at this point then now, what we would do is we would start the engines. Of course, you need to remember to run the before engines start list below the line before doing that, and this checklist is available from our Discord server. There's a link in the video description if you want to go ahead and download that. At this point then, with the engine started, we could sit back, relax, and perhaps maybe even enjoy a passenger view. I'm going to let this run and we'll just see how well the new toolbar pushback feature handles this slightly more complicated pushback.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
And once again, the add-on handles it perfectly. There are, however, a couple of things that the mod cannot do. So let's have a quick look at these. If you spawned into your gate and you have set up all your pushback, and then for some reason when hitting the request pushback option nothing happens, take a quick look outside to see if there is actually a physical tug vehicle there. What I have found with this app is that if the tug vehicle appears to be missing, as it has done in a few instances, as you've also seen on some of our live streams, then for some reason the pre-planned pushback will not work. They only works if you actually have a physical tug available. Not quite sure why this is, and you can see here in the video that I'm looking around to see if there's any way I can get this started. Apparently it requires the use of a physical tug, so no ghost tugs for this. If this does happen, then the pre-planning feature will not be available. You'll just have to cancel the planned pushback and pushback using the mod as you did before. One of the other things that I found that you cannot use with the pre-planned pushback feature is that you cannot push back and then have the tug pull you forward to a specific place on the taxiway. So you can only use this literally for pushing back. If you're not using pre-planned, of course, then you can ask the tug to pull you forward as you could previously before the mod was updated. But other than that, this is by far one of the best apps now available for Microsoft Flight Simulator. It is so good. It's going to be used in every one of my streams, and I cannot believe that something as good as this is free. So a huge shout out to Ambitious Pilots, the developer of this mod. Go ahead and visit them on flightsim.to, give them buy them a coffee, and it really is a fantastic piece of software. And as I say, the fact that it is free means it's even more amazing. A big shout out to them. Thank you so much, guys, for creating this. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, do give the video a like, and of course if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss any future content and live streams. Thanks so much, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye for now.